Hello, this is teddygaming. Welcome back to a review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tmnt The 71 Adventures issue number 1. Now yes, we're back for a brand new series, and I must admit overall this is a great way to start because we're starting off this series with the Rat King, and yeah, I don't know what else to really say. It's this version of Rat King and he is amazing. And I must admit overall this whole issue is really great, and I'm really looking forward to see what we'll do next. So yeah, let's actually talk about the story. Okay, so for the first bit of the story, we do get to see an old man walks out in like the middle of the road, and we do get to see these two people going to, I believe they're going to TSRI, and basically one of the canisters drops out and goes down the sewers, and that's when Rat King gets hold of the canister. Now I must admit, this whole little scene here gives me a lot of vibes from the origins of how Turtles were in the Mirage comics, which I must admit were pretty interesting for a few different reasons. And that's when Rat King decides to hold the canister up to his face, and the canister sprays out this gas, and basically the Rat King loses his powers. And I must admit here, I wasn't really expecting too much, and I didn't really think too much of this scene, but I would have to say that it's a little bit stupid if Rat King would do that. I mean, you know, but at the same time, it's Turtles in this version of Turtles, so I can't really say too much, but I would have thought that like him losing his powers would have been a lot more different, or at least a bit more of a bigger spectacle than him just holding up a canister and losing it to gas. But that's when we do get to see the Turtles. They're coming home after stopping some crime, which is basically a person spray painting, and that's when the Turtles hear like this voice in their head, which is the Rat King calling out to them, and that's when the Turtles do go off to him. Now this whole idea of the Turtles being controlled by the Rat King, I do think is a really interesting one, and I'm somewhat curious to see how far they're going to go with this idea, and see how far they're going to push it with the limits. I don't know, I also feel like there's a lot of potential here to tell a really good and interesting story. I'm just curious to see how far they're going to take this whole idea. But that's when we do get to see the Turtles meet with Rat King, and Rat King is like really confused by this, and he's really concerned just because Turtles are invading his land. But when he tells Turtles to do something, and they do it, he's like really surprised, and that's when he has some really good ideas, and one of them is to send Don off to go back and get like Rat King's powers for him. And that's when the Rat King and the Turtles go out on like a crime spree, which I was really surprised at. So with the Donatello stuff, it's not really too much I can really say here. It's just Donatello go home, and then he sees April and Splinter, and Splinter like sort of like discovers that something's not really right with Donatello, and that's when they get into a big fight. And I was quite surprised by this, but not too much. But I did enjoy the fight scene. I thought it was really interesting, I'd say. And then that's when we do get to see April pulls out, I want to say it's a taser, and then electrocutes Donatello. And I must admit, I was really surprised by this, just because it's this version of April, so I was not really expecting anything like this to happen, but it is what it is. And because of this, Donatello finally discovers that basically being electrocuted helps him not have the connection with the Rat King. So now he's going to go out in the next issue to go and electrocute his brothers, which I must admit sounds a lot more fun than what it probably will be. But I do find that pretty interesting, and somewhat curious to see how they're going to pull it all off. But I do think that, like, saying it out loud, saying that he's going to go electrocute his brothers and stuff like that, sounds a lot more interesting and fun than what we're actually going to see in the next issue. So with the Turtles and Rat King, they do go on a crime spree, and that's when they go into TSRI, which again, was something which I was not really expecting to see. And I must admit, using TSRI a lot in this series was pretty fun and interesting, and I'm somewhat curious to see like, what other sort of buildings they could bring into this universe and stuff like that. And that's when the Turtles discover that Shredder, Beam Rocksteady are there, they're breaking in, taking stuff, and that's when the Turtles start to fight Beam Rocksteady and Shredder. But Shredder sort of discovers basically the Turtles are being a lot more unique and different, just because this time they're not using comedy or humour or anything like that. This time they're using the weapons and trying to actually kill them, which I must admit, I was quite surprised if Shredder would pick up on this, and I don't know what we're going to do with this information, just because it feels though that this whole Shredder stuff was, I don't know, it was interesting and great for a few different reasons. I mean, one is Shredder, so yay, and also I'm quite surprised with this series, but I haven't been really using Shredder that much, so I must admit it's really great to see him come back and actually be useful for a few different reasons. And then, you know, it's just Shredder, so that automatically just gives him a few points. But at the same time, with this whole little subplot, I was going to say, I don't really know where we're really going to take this whole storyline. I don't know if they're going to be building up to something for following issue or something like that, or this could be like followed up in the next issue or anything like that. I don't know if this is supposed to go anywhere else, but if it doesn't really go anywhere else, then I do find it really strange and weird that it's here, but at the same time I wouldn't be too surprised if they do something more with this. But I must admit, overall, this little bit here, it was pretty great, and the seeing the turtles use their weapons was also really great. I will say this, however, if the turtles weren't like controlled by Rat King, then I would say that this bit did feel a little bit weird, just because we do get to see the turtles use their weapons, and with the 87 turtles being, well, the 87 turtles, and they don't really use their weapons all too much, I would say this probably would have been a little bit weird, but because they are hypnotized, I can sort of forgive it a little bit, but yeah. Now I must admit, overall this whole issue has been really great. I do like the fact that this whole story is a two-parter, so more content with Rat King, which is just really great. And I will say this, there are like a few little things in here which I did really enjoy about this issue so far. And the first one was the art. I do really enjoy Tim Latty's artwork, it is amazing as always, and with like little details in the background, such as like some little nods towards the tmnt game. I can't remember what one it was, but there was like little references to that in the lab, or like in like the sewer background, so I found that really interesting. I mean, also the colours, unfortunately they're not being done by Sarah Myers anymore, which is a real shame, which I do hope that they come back to the series. But we do have this new colours come in and do the colouring for this issue, and I must admit the colours for this issue was pretty interesting, and they're really great, and they remind me a lot of the 87 Turtles, specifically some books which I used to read as a kid, so if I can find a picture of them I'll put up on the screen now. But I must admit, overall these colours were pretty great, but it's not Sarah Myers, so it's not the same. But yeah, I must admit, overall this whole issue so far has been really great, and I don't really know what else to really say about it. It's just really great and fun. I can't wait to read more of it, and it's all got me a little bit hooked onto the show now. I want to watch some more 87 Turtles, but I know I'll just be disappointed. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this issue. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you enjoyed something, please share, let's subscribe and all stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.